The Black Sea port of Novorossiysk was quiet. The sun had not yet risen on October 10, 2025. A heavy fog hung over the water, hiding the secret activities below. A large cargo ship, sailing under a neutral flag, had arrived in the night. Its containers were marked with the logo of the Norco Group, a Chinese company. One container was special. It was marked ALH 455. Inside were powerful weapons. This was the start of a covert operation. Russia was receiving a secret delivery from China. The world was not supposed to know about this silent deal. The container, ALH 455, was carefully unloaded. 15 large military trucks waited on the dock. Each truck was prepared to carry a DF-11 short-range ballistic missile. These missiles were dangerous. They could carry a heavy warhead weighing 1,100 pounds. Their range was about 190 miles. This meant they could easily strike major Ukrainian cities like Kharkiv. The plan was simple. The missiles would be moved quickly and quietly. They would be integrated into Russia's arsenal. No one would know where they came from. The secrecy of the mission was critical for both Moscow and Beijing. About 20 heavily armed Chinese soldiers guarded the transfer. They were not just simple guards. They were specialists, there to ensure the missiles were handled correctly. Their presence was a clear sign of China's direct involvement. The convoy was more than just missiles. It included 4 escort vehicles for protection and 2 command jeeps to lead the way. The total value of this military hardware was immense. The missiles, trucks, and support equipment were estimated to be worth over $120 million. This was a significant investment, a hidden handshake between 2 powerful nations. As the last missile was loaded, the convoy prepared to move. The engines of the trucks rumbled to life, a low sound in the foggy morning. The soldiers took their positions. The plan was to travel under the cover of the thick fog and darkness. They would move through Crimea, a territory under Russian control. The destination was a secure military base. From there, the missiles would be ready to launch. The convoy started to roll out of the port, a deadly secret on wheels, disappearing into the gray morning. The operation had begun, but it was already being watched. High above the earth, an unseen guardian was watching. Ukraine's Lanta space system, a network of 26 defense satellites, was orbiting quietly. These satellites were Ukraine's eyes in the sky. They constantly scanned the region for any unusual activity. As the convoy moved out of Novorossiysk, one of these satellites passed overhead. Its powerful sensors pierced through the Crimean fog. It captured a clear image of the 15 trucks and their escorts. The satellite did not just see trucks. It saw a threat. The information was immediately sent. The journey of this crucial data was incredibly fast. The satellite transmitted the image across thousands of miles. It traveled from space to a ground station, and then directly to Kiev's Central Military Command. The entire process took only 9 seconds. In less time than it takes to tie your shoes, the Ukrainian leadership knew about the secret convoy. The image appeared on a large screen in a secure underground bunker. Generals and analysts gathered around. They saw the long line of vehicles moving stealthily along the coastal road. The first step of discovery was complete. This rapid detection was possible because of Ukraine's investment in modern technology. The Lanta space system was not just a collection of cameras, it was an integrated defense grid. It was designed to provide real-time intelligence from anywhere in the conflict zone. This capability gave Ukraine a major advantage. It meant that Russia could no longer move large military assets in secret. Even under the cover of bad weather or darkness, they could be found. The satellite network turned the entire battlefield into a place with no shadows and no hiding spots for the enemy. The image that arrived in Kiev was a puzzle. The analysts could see the trucks. They could count them. They could see the escort vehicles, but they needed to know exactly what was inside. Were they carrying supplies, ammunition, or something far more dangerous? The initial alert from the satellite was just the beginning of the intelligence process. The next step would require an even more advanced tool, a tool that could think. The digital image was fed into a powerful system, and the race to identify the cargo began. The high-resolution satellite image was immediately processed by a powerful artificial intelligence system in Kyiv. This AI was the brain of the operation. It was designed to analyze visual data with incredible speed and accuracy. The system ran the footage through 128 different recognition filters. Each filter was trained to identify specific types of military hardware. The AI compared the shapes, sizes, and thermal signatures of the trucks to a vast database of known Russian and Chinese equipment. Within seconds, the AI made a positive identification. The trucks were carrying DF-11 ballistic missiles. The AI did not stop there. Its job was to understand the enemy's intentions. The system began processing over 400 gigabytes of live data every minute. This included intercepted radio signals, drone footage, and other telemetry. The AI sorted through all this noise to find important patterns. It detected a unique radio frequency signal at 4.3 gigahertz. This signal was coming from one of the command jeeps. The AI identified this as the Convoy's command vehicle. This vehicle was coordinating the entire group. It was the head of the snake. With the command vehicle identified, the AI performed another amazing task. It predicted the convoy's next move. By analyzing the convoy's speed, the road conditions, and standard Russian military procedures, the AI calculated their route. It determined that the convoy, traveling at about 38 miles per hour, would need to stop for a short break. The AI searched for logical resting spots along the predicted path. It found an old, abandoned fuel depot about 12.4 miles ahead. The system predicted with high certainty that the convoy would stop there. Based on this powerful analysis, the Ukrainian command center had a complete picture. They knew what the convoy was carrying, they knew which vehicle was in command, and they knew where it was going to stop. This intelligence was a death sentence for the convoy. The Ukrainian military now had a window of opportunity to strike. They could plan an ambush at the abandoned fuel depot. The AI's work had turned a hidden threat into a clear target. The brain in the machine had given the Ukrainian forces the information they needed to act. With a clear target and a precise location, Ukraine launched its response. The plan was not just to attack, but to control the electronic battlefield first. 2 modified MTLB armored vehicles rolled out from a hidden base. Their call signs were Echo 1 and Echo 2. These vehicles looked ordinary on the outside, but inside, they carried a powerful, custom-built electronic warfare suite. This system was named the Echo Trap. Its purpose was to deceive and disable Russian electronic systems, creating the perfect conditions for an ambush. As the Ukrainian team prepared, they knew Russia would be protecting its valuable convoy. The Russians used jamming drones to create a protective electronic shield. These drones, like the Orlan-10, were designed to block enemy communications and drone control signals. As expected, Russia launched 2 Orlan-10 drones. They began broadcasting a powerful jamming signal on a 4.3 gigahertz frequency. This was meant to blind any Ukrainian drones that tried to get close. The Russian operators felt secure, believing their electronic shield was impenetrable. This is where the Echo Trap showed its brilliance. The electronic warfare systems on Echo 1 and Echo 2 detected the Russian jamming pulse. Instead of trying to block it, the Echo Trap did something much smarter. It captured the 4.3 gigahertz signal. It then instantly inverted the signal's phase and sent it back with more power. This created a destructive interference pattern. The Russian jamming signal was effectively cancelled out by its own echo. This electronic counterattack created a communications blackout for the Russian forces. Their jamming grid went completely silent for 172 seconds. During this critical window of silence, Ukraine was free to act. Their own drones could now fly without interference. To get a closer look, Ukraine launched a larger surveillance drone, an MQ-9 Reaper. It was armed with Hellfire missiles and advanced sensors. The Reaper flew high above at 10,000 feet, completely undetected. It shadowed the convoy, providing a live video feed to the command center. The operators in Kiev watched as the 15 missile trucks, 4 escort vehicles, and 2 command jeeps pulled into the abandoned fuel depot, exactly as the AI had predicted. The trap was set. The convoy came to a stop at the abandoned fuel depot. The soldiers got out to stretch their legs, confident in their electronic defenses. They had no idea their protection was gone. In the Ukrainian command center, the order was given. The encrypted message was short and clear: execute Strike Alpha. At 4:16 and 42 seconds a.m., the attack began. From hidden positions nearby, a swarm of 20 FPV kamikaze drones was launched into the air. These were not large, expensive military drones. Each one was small, weighing only 4.4 pounds. Each drone in the swarm carried a deadly payload, a 2-pound shaped charge. This type of explosive is designed to penetrate armor. The drones were not acting independently. They were synchronized by an AI coordinator using laser pulse telemetry. This allowed the swarm to move as a single, intelligent entity. The AI had already assigned targets to each drone based on the Reaper's live feed. The plan was precise. 10 drones were assigned to the fuel trucks. 5 were targeted at the missile trailers. The final 5 were sent directly toward the command vehicles. The Russian forces had one last line of defense. A nearby Pantsir S-1 air defense system was supposed to protect the convoy. Its radar automatically detected the incoming drone swarm, but the Pantsir systems were still suffering from the Echo Trap's electronic interference. Its radar was corrupted. The targeting system could not get a clear lock on the small, fast-moving drones. In a state of confusion, the Pantsir system fired 3 of its expensive $90,000 57E6 missiles. They flew harmlessly into the empty night air, missing the swarm completely. The first drone struck its target. It hit a fuel truck, instantly igniting its contents. A massive fireball erupted, reaching 65 feet into the sky. The explosion was so powerful that it registered as a 3.2 on local seismic sensors. This was just the beginning. The first explosion set off a devastating chain reaction. The other drones hit their targets in quick succession. The fuel trucks exploded, spreading fire to the missile trucks. The DF-11 missiles, with their own explosive warheads, began to detonate. The entire depot became a fiery inferno. Within minutes, the convoy was annihilated. The explosions at the fuel depot were catastrophic. The heat at the center of the blasts reached an estimated 1,400 degrees Fahrenheit. When the smoke finally cleared, all 15 missile trucks were gone. The escort vehicles and command jeeps were twisted, burning wrecks. The attack left a 35-foot wide crater in the ground where the first fuel truck had exploded. The silent deal was over. The valuable cargo, worth over $120 million in military hardware, had been turned into scrap metal in under 5 minutes. The mission was a total failure for Russia and China. The human cost was also high. Approximately 55 soldiers were killed or disabled in the attack. This number included the Russian drivers and guards, as well as the Chinese military advisors who were overseeing the transfer. Their presence provided undeniable proof of China's direct role in the conflict. The loss of these specialists was a significant blow. It was not just equipment that was lost, but also valuable expertise. The swift and brutal efficiency of the strike left no survivors to report what had happened. The only story would be told by the wreckage. What made this operation so remarkable was its incredible cost-effectiveness. The Ukrainian attack was carried out with 20 small FPV drones. Each drone, including its explosive charge, cost a little over $1,000. The entire drone swarm cost less than $25,000. With this small investment, Ukraine destroyed a military convoy worth over $120 million. One Ukrainian analyst later commented on the stunning success. He noted that the operation achieved, quote, 1 kill every 15 seconds. This highlighted a dramatic shift in the economics of warfare. This battle was not fought with tanks or fighter jets. It was a battle of smart technology against expensive hardware. Ukraine used cheap, disposable drones guided by sophisticated AI and protected by clever electronic warfare. Russia used expensive missiles and air defense systems. In the end, the cheaper, smarter approach won. The Pantsir S-1 system fired nearly $300,000 worth of missiles at nothing, while a $25,000 drone swarm completely destroyed its target. The event proved that a small, agile force could defeat a much larger and more expensive one. The aftermath of the strike sent shockwaves through the geopolitical landscape. Ukraine had not only neutralized a major threat to its cities, it had also captured definitive evidence of China's military support for Russia. The wreckage contained remnants of Chinese missiles and equipment. The presence of Chinese military personnel was confirmed. This was the smoking gun that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had been talking about. Just weeks earlier, on September 24, 2025, he had told the UN Security Council, without China, Putin's Russia is nothing. Now, he had the proof. China's official position had always been one of neutrality. Its deputy UN ambassador had claimed that Beijing held an objective, impartial position on the war. But the evidence from the destroyed convoy told a different story. It supported accusations from the United States that China was secretly supplying Russia with weapons, vehicles, and other technology. This event made it much harder for Beijing to deny its role. The silent deal was now a loud accusation. It put China in a difficult diplomatic position and increased pressure on Russia, who was growing more dependent on its powerful neighbor. The strike, known as Operation Night Veil, demonstrated a new paradigm of modern warfare. It showed how asymmetric tactics could be incredibly effective. A small nation, using a combination of low-cost drones, artificial intelligence, and sophisticated electronic warfare, could defeat the conventional military assets of a superpower. The idea that victory required the biggest tanks or the most expensive jets was proven wrong. The future of war, it seemed, would be defined by who could best integrate smart, affordable, and adaptable technologies. This event changed the way military strategists thought about conflict. The power was no longer just in the weapon itself, but in the network that guided it. Satellites, AI, and drones working together could achieve results that were previously unimaginable. The destruction of the DF-11 convoy was more than just a successful military operation. It was a lesson for the world. It showed that in the 21st century, innovation and intelligence could be more powerful than brute force. The rules of war had been rewritten in the fire and smoke of a Crimean morning.